You've brought in different
Is this how you are arguing against my point?
Is this how you're arguing against my point?
No, I haven't argued against my point. I made a point. I made an argument. I showed you the Christian theology. One second. I made an argument.
Christians and Jews and Genesis is open to our interpretation, as it is open to your interpretation.
I'm not talking about interpretation.
What I'm saying is,
you missed the point.
Your interpretation of that event, of the fall and sin and God, and that is open to your interpretation. The truth and the facts are that word was around long before the Quran, long before the Hadiths, long before any of your writings.
Straw man, irrelevant.
Oh no,
carry on.
No, that word was there long before. So we have got that, and we've got the continuity of 66 books in
73.
the Bible. 66. No, we don't take the Apocrypha into account. We take 66 books
78.
in the Bible. 66 books
okay,
in the
66.
Bible.
I'll take that for now.
In the Bible that have a continuity in them. Why? We have the predictions, the prophecies. We have very easy to understand principles about sin.
Now address my point.
You
have gone into all these tangents we call strawman arguments, red herrings. I'm arguing on this. I'm arguing on.
We've said that.
I said, listen.
Is God guilty?
Excuse me, listen. I am arguing on the very concept of the justice of God. Now, to understand the justice of God, here is my argument. If anyone believes that God punishes people, innocent people who had no partaking in the crime, I would say this is unjust. So my argument is, I want to make it home with you. Today, anywhere in the world today, is any court of law justified in punishing children and grandchildren for the crimes of their forefathers? So wait, let me explain. Let me explain. Justice. What is justice? What is justice? Maybe you don't understand justice. That's why the key issue is. What is justice?
What is justice?
Now I'm asking you. Do you understand that God is just?
If what right?
Right. Does God?
He's righteous. He's holy.
Wait. Let's understand something. When a crime is committed, according to you, in the sense of justice, does God punish the criminal or the innocent? Criminal. Yeah. So justice means if someone commits a crime, the criminal who commits the crime should be punished, not the innocent people.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Fine. If you commit a crime and your son or daughter did not commit a crime, can anyone be just in punishing your children?
Okay. No. Let me answer that question. No. Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Sin and crime, are they different or are they the same?
Sin is a crime against God.
What does sin mean?
Sin is a willing, actful disobedience of God's commands.
Okay. For me, sin means falling short of the mark. The word in Greek is hamartia. Hamartia means falling short of the mark.
Give me an example of a sin.
A sin, 10 Commandments.
Unbelief.
No, give me an example.
Example of sin.
An example.
Unbelief.
A right example.
Unbelief. Unbelief is a big sin.
Give me an example of a sin. Brother, please listen. An example of a sin. I want to hear from you. An example.
Adultery. Stealing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is adultery? It's an act of having sexual relationship with someone else that you're not married to. When God tells you, you can only have that relationship with someone you're married to.
So sin is different to crime.
Wait. Let's understand something. Slowly.
But that was my question to you.
Please, slowly. We'll understand where this is. God's command is, do not sleep around with other women that you're not married to.
That's a sin.
Yeah? If you disobey that command. Now, do you need to understand that this is what God's command is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But you see,
I haven't finished yet. Sorry, I'm not finished yet. Do you think a baby understands that command?
We've got that. We all agree on this.
No, excuse me.
No,
no, we don't.
The baby
That's why the discussion is taking place. A baby doesn't have the capacity to understand that this is a command of God.
Wait.
The baby has
Is
got
that correct?
sin in him.
Yes, I agree with you.
Someone who's mentally totally insane doesn't even know between right and wrong.
But you
Wait.
are obfuscating a point
Excuse
that we
me.
agree on.
No, we don't.
We
That's
do
why we're
agree
having a
on.
discussion.
What don't we agree on?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When Adam and Eve committed a crime,
A crime or a sin?
we're talking about crime against God, which is sin.
No. Now you've changed your mind.
I just
when
told
I
you.
asked you earlier,
A sin is a crime against God.
No. Is sin and crime the same
Okay,
thing?
what is a crime?
Okay, you tell me. A crime
Yes.
in this country, we all know what a crime is.
No, I don't. You tell me.
Okay.
Murder is a crime.
Wait.
Murder.
What is a crime? The concept of a crime. What is it? Not an example. What is a crime?
It's a disobedience of the law of the country.
Exactly. Very good point. So
A
you're
sin- a
wait.
sin is
Disobedience.
not the same as a crime.
Of
Do
the
you agree?
law of the
Do
land.
we agree?
Can we give me the chance to explain?
Okay, no,
A
not explain,
crime
just
is
answer
a
yes or no.
disobedience to a law of a country.
Yes.
Now, a crime against God is being disobedient to His law, and that crime is called sin. So it's a special category of crime. So now I'm asking you again: the sin that Adam and Eve committed,
Is visited upon the
did you
children.
commit that crime too with
No,
him?
No.
Right. So if God were to punish for that sin, can He punish you?
He does.
No. He won't.
He does,
does.
and he doesn't.
Wait.
Settle yourself first and then we talk.
No. We're in agreement.
No, you're not in agreement.
No, we're in agreement.
Are you in
It's
agreement?
semantics. It's semantics.
Sorry, are you in agreement?
We are in agreement if you let me speak. But
you
you're
must
not
let
gonna
us-
let me
let
speak.
us clarify.
I'm gonna
Okay,
try once
so
more now
no
to
or
speak.
yes, which
let
one?
Me clarify. Let
Before
me
you say in
clarify.
agreement, is the agreement
This
in
is-
no or
this
agreement
is
in
a
yes?
master of this. This is called self-esteem.
Sorry.
What
This is
doing?
called
No,
clarification.
no, no, no.
Clarification. I don't want to have any smoke
It's
screen.
semantics.
Now,
It's semantics.
clarification. Are you agreeing,
Sin
both
and
of
crime
you,
the same?
that
No.
you are not guilty of that sin? Is that what you're agreeing to?
Do you agree? Greg, what do you want to say?
What are you agreeing with?
No. Do you agree?
What are you trying to say?
I will speak.
Right. Let's see what the agreement is. Go ahead.
Let him speak.
God says you cannot have sex out of marriage. That is a sin. I go and I have sex out of marriage. Unfortunately, the girl that I have sex with out of marriage, that's not a crime. This is a sin now against God. It's not a crime in this country for me to do that. I'm not going to get punished. I'm not going to get put into jail.
It may be a crime in some countries. You need to
Yeah, it
understand
is in
that.
some countries, and it used to be in this country, but now it's not.
Sure.
So I go and sleep with this girl, and we have a baby. Here is where we agree. That baby is a result of my sin against God and against this lady. That baby suffers the consequences of my sin because that baby didn't want to be born out of wedlock with no father.
What's the punishment?
For him and you?
From God?
The
From God,
punishment-
from God.
The punishment from God for that baby.
Not for the baby, for
is-
you.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fornicator.
No, what's the punishment? Not your identification or a
Well,
label.
here's the difference. The punishment from God is there would be consequences for that, like
No.
a child out of a
No, there are
Let me answer your
consequences. I want to
question.
know the punishment.
I'm telling you, you need to listen to the end of the sentence. The consequences of that sin will be whatever they are. The punishment from God, thank God for Jesus, because He took that away. He wiped that away.
What is the punishment?
So Jesus,
He
the
wiped the
punishment was
punishment.
death.
What is it?
The sin, the punishment is death.
You don't realize what God has already said about that already, have you?
I do. I realize fully.
What
well
did
he's
God
saying.
say
The punishment
to
for
His
sin
mighty
is
messenger
death.
Moses? The punishment of committing adultery.
Yeah.
And has this
In those
been
days it was
changed?
stoning or whatever it was.
Wait. Do you agree with that?
It was also
No,
changed.
not anymore.
Why?
So you.
Because the New
So-
we have Jesus, the New Testament.
So when that happened,
do you agree with it? Do you think that? Do you think
wait,
that the woman
not
should be
with
stoned?
us. Do you agree
Oh, so you don't agree with it.
God's punishment was stoning to death? Do you agree?
What?
Do you agree God's punishment was in your book stoning to death?
Moses.
God's punishment given to Moses.
Under the
Moses
law.
was stoned, yes.
God gave that punishment.
Or whatever.
Did you agree with that?
Sorry.
Do you agree with that? That was a good thing?
I agree. No,
So you don't agree with God? That was a good thing.
I don't agree with God that it was a good thing now, but I do agree with God that it was a good thing then.
So you disagree with God?
No, I didn't
in some
say
way.
that. I said I agree with God.
Yeah.
Because
not a good thing now.
Because
That's
God,
what you said.
Well, God came down and said to us, He stopped
Okay,
that
fine.
woman being
Fine.
stoned. Wait, let me finish. Jesus stopped the woman from being stoned and said, He who is without the first sin, let him cast the first stone.
You know that story is
None
not
of
found in
those
early
people-
manuscripts.
So those people had to walk away.
Do you know that
Jesus
story is not
was
found in
serious
early
right in
manuscripts?
the
It's a later forgery?
No, that's not true. That is absolutely not true.
Have you studied
you
this
and I
matter
both
yourself?
know-
Have you studied the manuscripts
You know
themselves?
I'm not a scholar.
Have you studied the manuscripts for that particular story
I
in
studied
Luke?
the manuscripts, and the manuscripts there's over
Sorry, one moment.
700
Have you?
manuscripts for Luke.
Have
Yeah.
you?
And that story,
Have you studied those manuscripts?
for that particular matter, yes. So let me tell you what I've studied.
Really?
Let me tell you what I've studied. The earliest manuscripts
We
for
have that.
earliest
The
manuscripts.
The Masoretic texts have that.
Wait.
That
The
story in
Masoretic
it.
text is
Yes.
not a manuscript. We're talking about the earliest.
Which is the earliest is what?
So which papyri is the earliest for
Okay.
that story?
You know what? It's in my Bible.
No.
It's in my Bible.
You
In the
said
cover
you
of the
studied,
Bible,
right?
We start out believing.
Sorry.
No,
You said you
'cause
studied
you're
it.
on another subject. We're speaking about
You
sin.
said you studied
You've gone
it,
from
right?
sin to
One
Brubaker,
moment.
to presuppositions.
You said
Sorry, is your name Mansur?
yes.
Mansur, sorry.
And yours is?
Mine is Greg. And I'm telling you now, Mansur, you are speaking to us about 15 different subjects here. This brother and myself,
Who's
we were
taking
speaking earlier.
the conversation to tangent?
No,
You
but
are.
I'm very clear. Sin and crime. We both agree.
On what?
You try to.
What do you agree on?
break
Sorry,
us
Greg,
up on the
Thank you very much.
consequences of sin.
Do you agree
try
that
to
you are
agree-
guilty of the
you
sin of
try to
Adam and
upstand
Eve?
it. No,
yeah.
you're controlling the argument now.
We are.
Let me
Sorry,
control the
have
argument.
I not given you a chance to speak?
No, you haven't given me a chance to speak.
Okay.
Not enough of
Speak.
a chance to speak.
Okay, speak
Do
and
you
tell me,
agree-
what do you agree
with
on?
me? You say to speak, and what do we agree on? You're saying to me, speak. Let me speak. Do you agree with me that there are consequences of sin?
Yes.
And there's punishment for sin?
Yes.
And there are two different things?
Yes.
Yeah, we agree.
Now,
We agree
what is
on
the
same
so?
thing.
What is the answer to my question? Do you agree that you are guilty of the crime that Adam and Eve committed in the Garden of Eden?
I want to ask you something.
Sorry.
No.
The answer time now. It's answer
no,
time.
no,
It's
no,
not
no.
question time.
No,
It's
let me-
answer time.
no, let
Sorry.
me- let me
What's
ask
your
you
name?
something.
What's your
Greg.
name?
No,
Greg.
it's
Greg.
question
It's
time.
answer time. So,
Question time.
what is the answer? Do you feel that you are guilty of the crime Adam and Eve committed in the Garden of Eden?
I'm guilty of the consequences of the crime.
My question is very different.
No, your question.
I am not questioning you about, do you agree there are consequences? Yes, there are consequences. We both agree. My question to you is different. Do you agree that you are guilty of the crime
Of what?
and you should be punished
What crime?
for that crime of Adam and Eve of disobeying God and eating of the tree?
The original sin. You see the sin that you
Sorry, let
commit.
him think. Let him think. You're interrupting his thinking process. So go ahead.
I might need to read that scripture because
What is it?
am I guilty of the crime of Adam and Eve
No, the
eating
Lord
the fruit
says,
of the tree?
one man's sin, therefore all have sinned. That's the scripture.
That's
Through
right.
one man's sin, all have died.
One man rapes, you're all rapists. Look at the analogy.
It's not that.
One man's
It's
sin,
not, you're
one man's
very
sin,
good at doing
yeah?
that.
and because of the sin of one man,
Yeah.
all have died because they judged by that sin that they committed.
See,
Judge.
So if you rape, God forbid, if you steal, let me change the example, then everyone else from your family, your children, they're all guilty of the crime of stealing.
Well, look, let me just tell you right now. the
Is that what you're
sin-
telling me?
No. What I'm telling you is that men steal.
No, you.
No,
You
listen.
as a father
No,
steal.
I'm telling you now.
Are
I
your
want you to first
children,
finish listen to what I'm saying.
and you're going to answer the question that is being
I
asked.
will. I'm going to tell you now.
Right.
Sorry to be
that
rude, but your wife is calling. We've got to go.
we are all.
You have to go.
We are
So you
all,
need to really
no,
summarize
no,
this.
wait a
So
minute.
can I
we
say
are
something
all,
to you?
We are all under sin. The reason why you sin is because you are born in sin.
This is
You
not the
understand?
discussion.
That
the
is the
discussion
discussion.
is not
No,
that
no,
I
no,
have
wait,
sinned,
no.
not
No,
that
no.
I have sinned, I'm
Greg,
willing,
let me
able to
just
sin.
finish here.
Everyone
Let me just
is
finish here.
able to sin,
me
right?
just finish
You
here.
and I are able to sin. That's not the question. The sin of Adam and Eve, are you guilty of that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You know why?
Now,
because
you need
God
to
sees it
really
that way.
think about that one.
God
I don't
sees
think
it
you
that
agree with
way.
him.
No, God sees
It's
it that way.
semantics. That's all
Because
it
if
is.
you agree with him,
It's
then
semantics.
when
You're
you had
putting
no
words-
volition, no will, no choice
But it
in
doesn't-
eating of the tree, and you're saying that I'm still guilty. This kind of concept, as you now realize, an intellectual person like yourself, a reasonable person like yourself,
I'm not
a
intellectual.
thinking person like yourself, a sensible and logical person like yourself cannot take it. So you have to go. I'll let you go.
You have to understand.
Wait,
You
wait,
have
wait.
to-
Islam
Bonnie.
will make sense
No,
when you, when
Christianity
you
makes
think about
perfect
it.
sense.
In
That's
Islam, there is no sin
In
that you are guilty of because your forefathers have done. You are guilty of your own sin. That is the justice of God. Come to Islam.
And how do you get rid of that sin? How do you get rid of that sin?
That's a discussion that we can have, but you have to go.
And I hope, my friend.
We can talk again.
I hope so.
We can talk again.
Can I just say something, Mansur? I know what's in your heart now in this conversation. I really do know what's in your heart. And I know that you are speaking to us because you want us to see the truth.
Absolutely.
But please understand, vice versa as well. The passion that we have for each other is to establish the truth, to establish a dialectic. What I would love to do with you one day is to speak about presuppositions. Because the presuppositions that you have and the presuppositions that we have coming here, if this is the truth, that is something that people like you that are respectful and people like us that are respectful can go a long way in healing this country. So when I started out in Javier about those Muslims coming into the bar, that to me was the beginning of joy. That is hope. That is the ability to speak. We can argue. You can be a polemicist. I can be an apologist. Vice versa. We can argue. But I want to thank you for this conversation. I want to thank you.
You're most welcome. We'll talk again. We'll talk again, but let us come without any presuppositions.
No,
that's exactly what I was trying to.
We come with them. We come with them, and I'll tell you why we come with them. Because when you come with them and you bear them, and you're transparent and you're honest, that is the way that you climb up the ladder towards the truth. And I think we're getting there. I think Jesus is going to call you.
Almost there, as you realize the belief of original sin and atonement doesn't make sense. So I plead you to think at home, reflect in your own times how God can be just in your eyes by punishing you for the crime that you had nothing to do with. Okay? May God guide us all.
Thank you.